Not Worth the Time with Wade Taylor. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Not Worth the Time. We're here. We're doing it. It's been another fantastic couple weeks. I hope you've had a great 2 weeks. I hope you've been just living up the dream. I hope you're grasping for your dreams, clawing your way out of the filth and the muck to try to motivate yourself to do something good. I don't know why. I don't know why I want to put on this motivational speaker voice every time I start this podcast. I just want to wish you guys well. I hope somebody's always wishing you well. That's why I do it. You treat others how you want to be treated. And I do that by saying I encourage you to do what you love. Because I just want people to do that for me. There are plenty of people who do it for me. I just want more because I'm a greedy little asshole. I'm just a greedy positivity pig. I'm just like, give me the positivity. Come on, reinforce my crazy ideas that I will make money telling dumb jokes. Positive affirmations. A truffle pig in that shit. So, I'm treating you guys how I want to be treated, which is being flooded with positivity. But not gross positivity. Isn't there weird how there's a line of how much positivity you want? I think we all know people in our lives who are glass half full attitude is by far the superior attitude to glass half empty, right? But man, we all know a couple people who are just over the top positive. They're somehow spinning the murder of a loved one into a positivity. Like they're trying to find the positive in Ted Bundy. And yeah, dude, it's okay to be angry and kind of like in the pit of despair for a little bit. You don't have to find the positive side of a womanizer who kills a whole sorority. Okay, you don't need to try to spin that one. Okay, there's some darkness in the world. So sometimes it's just like positivity is not always the answer. Sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up and let people vent. That's what venting is nice. Venting completely underrated. I don't think I think we all need to stop venting on social media and stuff like that. I'll raise my hand to that too. That's what half of this podcast is. That's why I'm trying to be more positive. You know. Gotta stop venting. You know, you do the people who are just sit in their car and do their little thing. I don't know who needs to hear this. It's like, call your aunt, call your brothers, call somebody else. Just talk to them. You don't need to do that. You don't need to talk to nobody and put it out online. That sounds, man, I'm just talking to myself. I'm looking in the mirror right now. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. Talking to myself. There's nobody here, and I'm putting this out on the internet. Man, it's so funny when you start talking and you run yourself into a circle. But I'm doing this to entertain you guys, hopefully. So that's my justification. It's my justification. Also, it's fun to track what I'm trying to do and what's going on in life. It's basically a video diary. Anyway, I digress. Hope you've all had a good couple weeks. I've had some interesting couple weeks just doing stuff, working, doing the whole 9 to 5 grind. They have me going to this class now, where it's like a business development class, right? And it's not like business like I'm going to learn economics. I'm going to take Econ 101 and understand how our economic system works and thrives so I can create better value for the shareholder. No, it's not like that at all. It's one of those kind of seminars where it's going to try to teach you how to connect with people and how to be better socially and maybe work on public speaking and all that stuff, which is great. A lot of people, I think you could use some refresher course on that. I could. A lot of people are scared of public speaking. It's like still the number one fear of a lot of people is they don't want to get up in front of an audience and talk to people, and totally understandable. For obvious reasons, I do that basically on a weekly basis, doing open mics, or if I have shows, I get to do that. So I don't really have that much of a fear anymore of doing public speaking. It's pretty easy as long as I have prep time to know what I'm going to be doing and talking about. Easy stuff. And man, it's funny that is such a fear for people. And some people will go, well, wait, you're public speaking right now. I'm not. This is so low stakes. There's nobody here. It's like I was saying. It's easy to spit and freestyle into a camera when no one's in here judging you, okay? It's funny to think that I look at this camera, though, and on the other side of it is just potentially hundreds of thousands of people if they wanted to watch this. Now, granted, there's only about the 10 or 15 of you who watch it on YouTube, which, hi, hello, appreciate you the subscribe and the support. You're flooding me with positivity when you watch this video, so I appreciate you. I'm just being the positivity pig. Positivity Pig is going to be a new character on this fucking show. Anytime we get real positive, we're going to hit that. I need a fucking drop of a pig snorting. Positivity Pig's coming for you. Just tell me I'm doing good. And it's very these little class seminars, when you get like a group of people together and you're doing like these things and they're trying to teach you things. You guys remember school, right? Remember when your teachers would get up and they start doing their lecture and going through the rigmarole, talking about what it is, and because they want you to engage, right? Because if you've ever spoken or given a presentation of any kind, like that's longer than like a 10-minute presentation you did for like school, right? You want participation. Now, when you know you only have like a 10-minute or 5-minute thing, you completely just are like, no, I'm just going to burn through this. It's only 5 minutes. I don't need participation. But you have an hour of time you have to do, like a teacher does for classes. You just have to have some kind of participation. You can't just talk at people for that long and not engage them in some sort of way, right? You know, with stand-up, obviously, I'm engaging them with laughter. If I didn't make people laugh for an hour, it would be painful. That's when you see people revert to crowd work to try to like soften people up a bit. You know, there's all these tricks and rigmaroles to do. What I absolutely hate about any kind of seminar, any type of class you've ever taken, just anything where somebody's up there teaching and trying to explain subject matter, right? I've always hated how often this happens. Is they're up there explaining something, and then they ask a question, right? And it's very much a question to the class, and there's always that time frame at the beginning of something, right, where it's just everybody sits there in silence. When the very first day of class, right, everybody's just silent. So they're like, so what are you trying to get out of this? And you're expecting, a lot of people just sit there and are expecting them to continue. They don't want to interrupt or whatever. They don't even want to raise their hand. And so they just sit there. We sit there in this awkward silence because they're waiting for us to engage. They've been in this situation before. They're not going to break unless it's like a new teacher, right? And then they might panic. You know, it's like the open mic for teachers. They're just like, nobody's saying anything. And then they just continue on. But if you're a veteran, you just sit there in it, right? And you make the class feel uncomfortable until somebody says something. And the problem with me is ever since I was a little kid, I figured this out so early on that if you just raise your hand and just say anything, it will continue the lesson. And that's all I want to happen, is I want it to continue because I want it to be over with, okay? I definitely have some kind of undiagnosed learning disability, and I always thought if the teacher was going and I just answered or said something to keep the lesson moving, it would get over quicker, and somehow we'd be let out of class early or whatever. I don't know what I thought as a kid, but I definitely thought if I just move this along, it'll be over. But the problem, now I just always look like a fucking teacher's pet. Everything I do, because I don't want to sit in that awkward silence. Apparently, everybody else is totally fine just letting that awkward silence just expand like pizza dough. Just letting it rise before you fucking pound it out into an actual crust, right? They'll let it sit and marinate and get thick. And dude, I can't do it. I can't sit in that awkward silence. And so I end up just raising my hand. Even if I don't know what the answer is or what she's looking for, I'll just raise my hand and say anything. But it sucks because I'm also a people pleaser. And I just end up looking like I'm just a Mr. Know-It-All Always participate. Oh, there's Wade, always wanting to try to be the center of attention, get the answer right. There's Wade, he's always got something to say, and I don't. I just want things to move along. I just want to continue the lesson so I can leave. I want to explain that. I'm going to get up in front of a class and say that to people like, look, okay, I'm not doing it this time. You guys are going to have to pull your fucking weight, okay? I don't care if we do an order, okay? I'll do it first, then Terry could go second, then Matt, then Lisa, then Betty, okay? We'll do it in order, but you have to do your part. Once you ask a question, you just go ahead and say an answer, okay? Let's move it along. Oh, it's brutal, dude. I hate and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the teacher's pet always trying to answer the question. I just want the lesson to be over. So just say anything. It's all you got to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just say wild shit. Say shit that doesn't matter, okay? Get a laugh. Just say a joke. Because if you distract too much with a joke and it gets a laugh or whatever, right, they have to then move on because they have to course correct and get it back on course. If you're teaching a course, you got to get it back on course. So it's brutal. It's one of the things I hate more than anything. I hate having to do that. I'll tell you what's funny is we're learning about conversation techniques, and what's fun about like anything that's geared towards business related things is, and I used to be a salesman. I sold printers for when I first got out of high school. I worked at an Office Max for a long time, and I would sell printers. And I remember them telling me like how they sold and stuff. And I just never did it the way they did because it felt gross and disingenuous a lot of times. I would be straight up with people. It's funny how if you're straight up and you're actually truthful, you end up getting more sales. Like I don't make that sale that day, but then eventually they all come back and they ask me for other stuff that we did sell and that I could get them for. Like even in 2011, you didn't need a home printer, you guys. Nobody really needed a home printer anymore. 6 years before that, you did, before we had like Google Maps and shit on our phones and whatnot, where you had to print out MapQuest directions. You guys remember reading the old MapQuest directions? I had them in my car. It's funny how we went from having an actual physical road map. I remember reading those as a kid. I remember trying to, like, when my dad was driving, I'd ask for the map sometimes, and I would look at the map and ask where we were and try to figure out where we were and which way we were going. And it's hilarious that I still have horrible understanding of cardinal directions. Like I'm sitting in my house right now, I don't think I can tell you which way is north or south. I don't know. I'd have to really think hard about it. I'm also not going to give you my geolocation. And it's funny how now, and then we went into like having just MapQuest, which was like everybody shit on that, like, oh, nobody knows how to get anywhere more. They just got these MapQuest things. We just have to read a map. And now I say stuff like, we used to have them to get MapQuest, and now everybody just got their phone telling them where to go. Like, as you get older, what is normal becomes obsolete. But I would tell people they didn't need a printer. Because they come in and be like, what are you using a printer for? And they'd be like, sometimes I have to, I print off like a document. I'm like, how often? And they'd be like, I don't know, maybe every 3 months. I print concert tickets. It's just like, I was like, and I finally told people, I just like, hey, this is a waste of money then. I was like, the ink in there, that dries up in like 6 months if you're not using it all the time. And it's technically more expensive than gold per ounce. And that's a true fact. At the time when I worked there, my manager, who was like of age with me, as a friend of mine from school, we were talking about it one day, and he was just an overly smart guy and would just do weird shit. And he's like, yeah, I actually compared the price of ink, copier ink, to the price of gold, and it's actually printer ink is worth more than gold per ounce. And that was true at the time in 2011, 2012. And so I would tell people, there's other solutions. Like, you got to print a concert ticket off. Office Max has a printing service in the back. All you got to do is whatever little PDF, put it on a flash drive, come in, You know, come down here when you're going to like Walmart or whatever at Toys R Us. Toys R Us was still open at the time. Just whenever you're down in this general area, just remember to do that. Come in here. You're not making an extra trip. We print it off. It's literally 50 cents, maybe 25 cents. It was so cheap to do. If you're not printing things all the time, so you want to spend $400 on a printer and the ink cartridges you need for it, or you can come in and spend maybe $5 a year on printing. You know what I mean? It made no sense. So I told a lot of people that. My managers got real upset that I was losing the sales that way. But what's funny is how often people would buy printers after that. They would still be like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think I'd still like to have a home printer. I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. Well, I'll show you what ones I think would fit what you need. And I sold more printers than a lot of people and did better and sold more warranties and stuff because I was just being straight up with them. I was just like, hey, this is what I think. You can still make this purchase, and I'll help you make a better decision. I just want to understand what you need, And I like that because I didn't feel gross doing those techniques. A lot of times when you like do conversational techniques, they're fucking gross. You can feel when somebody's coming up and trying to make a sale, or they're trying to like manipulate you into something, or trying to like pry information out of you. And maybe you can't. Maybe it's something I always feel, or I always assume since I was a salesman for a long time. It's gross though. I hate it. I just don't like those kind of leading things to try to get. It feels interrogation-y. Like no matter what, I always am like skeptical why people are asking me questions that I don't know personally. It's always weird. There's ways to get information out of people. Like there's little side questions and stuff. Like one of my favorite things is to ask people what their favorite sports teams are. That lets me know how emotionally stable they are. If I ask a man who is his favorite sports team, like if you ask me like, what's your favorite NFL football team? I'd be like, the 49ers. The last time I cried was 2 years ago when they lost the Super Bowl. The exact last time I cried as a man. And that's for most men, okay? If you ask them their favorite team, favorite sport, favorite player, and stuff, you'll find out real quick. Just do a quick Google search when the last time that team happened to have a devastating loss or a fantastic win. Wins count as cries too, okay? I know some grown men who have cried to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl as many times as they did, okay? So there's fun ways to do that kind of conversational techniques, I just I hate when you do those little seminars and they're geared towards business, and it just seems like there's these forced weird conversations and you're not really having honest conversations or actually trying to figure out, because you want something, your customer wants something, but you don't. I don't think people I think people forget about that aspect when they're on the salesman side, right? They forget that you are trying to sell a product that somebody needs. And so when you're selling something that somebody needs, you should get them the exact thing or as close as you can to that. You shouldn't upsell them or undersell them and try to screw them. That's what makes a good salesman. That's why people go back to good salesmen, because you're not trying to fuck somebody either way, And I hate that some people play that game as like they're trying to win over that. Whereas I think if more salesmen approach it like as I'm doing my best to help somebody, the world would be a lot better place and we wouldn't be in such a shithole fucking feeling, right? Oh no, we're going down a negative rabbit hole. Somebody call the positivity pig. All right. That's enough out of me for that. I think it's time to get into what I found this week and I thought would be an interesting thing to talk about. Now, it's the summertime, guys. It's officially here. And summertime brings sunshine, brings thunderstorms. Who doesn't love a good thunderstorm? Oh, man. I love a thunderstorm, dude. You know what thunderstorms mean? I'm watching fucking Jurassic Park. I have no idea why that's a thing in my brain. But ever since I was a little kid and first saw Jurassic Park, anytime it's a rainy day, thunderstorm out, Mom, can we watch Jurassic Park? And I would watch Jurassic Park. It's a great rainy day movie for some reason. I think because of the rainstorm that happens that shuts down the power on the island. is why I associate that. But man, I love watching Jurassic Park on it. Super excited for Jurassic World Rebirth. Oh man, I already got my tickets, dude. And if you don't think I'm not wearing my Raptor hat to the theater, you're goddamn wrong, okay? I'm a 33-year-old man. I'm going to go have fucking fun at Jurassic World Rebirth, okay? I'm going to wear one of my Jurassic Park shirts. I'm going to wear this hat. It's going to be a good time. Everybody will have fucking fun, or the positivity pig will eat you out of the trough. But summertime's here, everybody, and with all the good stuff, we got to remember there's a couple things you got to keep your eye out for, like ticks. Tick season's in full swing. And today I found an article that I thought would be helpful for a lot of people. I don't know a lot about ticks. I don't know how to prevent them or spot them. So maybe now, you think as a guy who worked in the tree service for a long time, who definitely had a couple ticks on him, I'd be able to identify ticks better. I don't, but I'm freaked out by them. They are fucking, I hate them. I hate them so much. I've had this picture up on the screen the entire time I've been talking to you guys this episode, and this is what it is. But how to protect yourself from ticks year-round, and that's what's weird. I always forget that ticks are a year-round thing if you're in certain areas. But let's take a look here. Ticks can be active in any season, and it's important to check and remove the bloodsuckers as quickly as possible, especially after you've been outside hiking, gardening, or enjoying nature. Humans are outside more in the summer, so when we hear about more tick infections, said Sam Telford, an infection disease expert from Tufts University, but he urges caution year-round because every season is tick season. See, I did not know that. That makes total sense when you talk about the outdoors. Here in Iowa, we typically always say, like, springtime rolls around, it's tick season. Like, actually, it's not even beginning of spring. It's like middle spring into summer, and then partially into fall, I guess. Everybody in the Midwest shits on winter until all the bugs go away. And then we're like, oh, this is nice. And then we remember it's too fucking cold to do anything. Yeah, the outside world just tries to really fuck the Midwest. It's either too snowy or too buggy to go outside. The tick population varies a lot regionally. Some northeastern states, including Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, are seeing above average numbers of American dogs ticks this year. American dog ticks? I want to know what American dog tick looks like. Let's find out. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's what an American dog tick looks like. Right there. Right there. What an American dog tick looks like. That's an American dog tick right there. I heard they know it's Ep1. All right, let's take it back over to that. In New York State is seeing higher numbers of reported deer tick bites this year than last year. I think that deer ticks are what carry Lyme disease a lot, if I remember right. Says ST. I'm sorry, I'm never going to get your name right. I'm sure you're a very well-respected scientist in the disease, but I don't want to butcher your name, and out of respect, I will call you ST. Who studies tick-borne diseases at SUNY, Upstate Medical University. Damn, there's so many fucking schools up in New York, dude. How ticks can spread disease. Ticks, like mosquitoes, need to feed on blood instead of a quick prick. A quick prick. Hey, call me. What do you? You call me what my ex-wife did. A quick prick. They are slow feeders with a hooked mouth part that attaches into the skin of deers, rabbit, dogs, and people. I'm surprised they don't go on cows that often. Why, there's got to be ticks that get on cows, I would assume, right? It's like the vampire bat. Vampire bats love to eat the cow. They love eating cow. I'll tell you this. The vampire bats sure aren't Muslim. They're no, it's not Muslim. Damn it, that's pork they don't eat. It's not Hindu. Man, insensitive joke did not work. I didn't remember which religion it didn't eat what. It's crazy that there's religions that don't eat stuff. There's got to be one for Christianity. Well, I know we don't eat fish or we don't eat red meat for like a month during Lent. Is there a whole thing in there about not eating pork for the Christians? Because if the Old Testament's part of it, I don't know. Who knows? A bunch of goofy rules. I'm going to eat bacon, dude. That's American as fuck. There are different species of ticks found globally, and only some spread germs that can make people sick. A main worry of black-legged ticks is also called the deer tick, which can spread Lyme disease. I was right. Once found mainly in New England and pockets of the Midwest. Yeah, I've heard of it here in the Midwest. The tick is now prevalent over a wider range. Tick bite does not always lead to illness. If you remove the tick within 24 hours of attachment, it's fairly unlikely that you will get infected. So you have 24 hours before they finally go, yeah, I've been here long enough. I'm going to just fucking squirt a disease inside this man that'll completely fuck up his entire life. You can Jack Bauer your ticks. This tick bites you, all of a sudden you hear, doot, 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 doot. You have 24 hours to get you. How to check for ticks. Ticks are usually found low to the ground in a leaf litter or grassy area. Check your clothes for ticks. To do a full body includes under your armpits, behind your ears and knees, and hair. And I'll add one here that they won't do here on the AP News because they're a news site and they're respectable. Under your ball sack. This was a thing I was told numerous times as a child. It's like we'd be out and about in the woods doing whatever and yada yada. And I was from my dad being like, "Hey, when you go take a shower, make sure you check under the grundle." I think my dad must have had one tick under his his marble sack one time, and he never forgot it, and he just was passing along information, which I approve. I approve of that, of telling that to, because I wouldn't have thought to check there, Yeah. I should be feeling my balls for testicular cancer multiple times a day. I should also be checking for ticks. So check under the beanbag, guys. There might be a bloodsucker back there. It's the first time you got your pole sucked. If you're out all day long, try to do a quick check for the ticks every few hours, said Bobby Pitts of the Mayo Clinic. When you go back inside, take a shower, use that will wash off any unattached ticks, and you also may likely spot any other ticks. Yeah, I got to go take a shower. You want to go down the drain and get in the water supply. We need the ticks that go in the water supply and get crushed up during the filtration process. The ticks are in the water supply. Use tweezers to remove ticks. Grasp it as close to the skin as possible and pull from the head. If you don't have them handy, you can also use your fingernails, the edge of a credit card, in semi-sharp objects. Okay, well, that's it. Look at that. Look at them MacGyvering their way out of removing ticks off of you. How to keep ticks away. The best approach is to minimize tick exposure altogether. Bug spray contains ingredients such as DEET can spray to expose the skin and ward off ticks and mosquitoes. Wear long sleeve and pants, and you can also spray your clothes with repellent containing permethrin, a chemical similar to natural ingredients in, I have no idea how to say that word. You guys can look that one up for yourself. I'll highlight it for you. That makes ticks avoid the flowers. Oh, interesting. Can I just rub myself with dandelions and maybe they'll stay away from me? The lions will keep me away from the ticks. Protect the pets from ticks. Don't forget to pay attention to your outdoor pets. Medications to prevent flea and ticks attached to dog skins, but also is a good idea to check their fur after being outside. Whenever a pet can easily groom themselves, that's where the ticks, or can't groom themselves, is where the ticks will be. On the ears, around the muzzle area, and under the collar, between the toes. Wow, between their toes. That would suck. Dogs and cats roaming outside can also bring ticks into the house. If your pet brings a tick into the house, can live in the house for months until it finds the next blood meal. They could be another household member, he said. Damn, that's terrifying. What to do after a tick bite? Remove the tick bite. Keep an eye on your skin around the bite. If a rash or flu-like symptoms appear in several days or weeks, see a doctor. The Center of Disease and Control Prevention does not recommend tick testing because its results may not be reliable. Oh, well, what do you know? I didn't know that you could do tick testing anyway. Ah, well, that's fascinating, isn't it, you guys? I think it's good advice there. You know, I like being outside. I don't like ticks. I always get scared when I go under trees that they're going to fall on me like a fucking skydiver and just go down my shirt and bite me. It's a thing I fear constantly. So I thought it was some good tips. Recommended to keep them bloodsuckers off you. And you know what else is a good tip? Checking out puntinggame.com. That's right, everybody. Puntinggame.com is where you can find this show, Not Worth the Time. Every 2 weeks, I put out this episode for you. Just trying to spread a little positivity and bring some fun to you. And then you also have my other show, Who Gives a F, with my older brother Nathan, where we talk shit, just catching up every week. That comes out every Wednesday. Go check that out. And then we also have a catalog of other shows we've had on the network for years. There's thousands of hours of content up at puntinggame.com, so go ahead and check that out. And if you really want to support the show, while you're there, go to the Punting Game shop where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, stickers, all sorts of cool stuff to represent your favorite shows here at puntinggame.com. Merch all over for you there. And don't forget to use promo code NWTPOD. That's NWTPOD, and that gets you free shipping at checkout over there. And if you'd like to watch the video versions of the show, watch me struggle to read, watch me make weird faces and talk to the camera, you want to go to youtube.com and search Comic Wade Taylor. Comic Wade Taylor on YouTube is where you can find the video versions of both shows, Who Gives a F and Not Worth the Time. You can find sketches. You can find my stand-up comedy. You can find all of that great entertainment stuff. Thank you to all the people who have subscribed officially at 223 subscribers. Can't tell you how much that means to me. Really appreciate you guys checking out the content and the fact that you're liking it. Means a lot, so thank you. Keep feeding the positivity pig, okay? But that being said, guys, I'm Wade Taylor. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do.